The National Labor Department reports the unemployment rate has fallen to its lowest level in 2 years. In March, the rate fell to 8.8%, with a full percentage point drop over the last 4 months. It's the sharpest reduction since 1983. Now, workers are being hired at the fastest 2-month pace since the recession began, and this includes factory, education, healthcare, and other jobs. Now, the Labor Department says about 216,000 new jobs were added last month, offsetting local government layoffs. Now, most of the gains are in the private sector, adding 230,000 jobs in March. Kenny?
All right, Mahia, thanks. And it is now time for this morning's UHERO report. And joining us this morning is Dr. Carl Bonham, UHERO report with Mr. Bonham. And thanks for joining us here this morning. Good to see you again. Let's talk about the latest news coming out. The latest data on the U.S. economy and job creation came out this morning. Should we be excited by this latest report?
Well, the numbers came in better than expected, and we're adding jobs. Over the last 3 months, we've added an average of about 190,000 private sector jobs and about 160 total jobs. So we're continuing to lose jobs in the public sector.
What about what's happening? The unemployment rate declining down to 8.8%. How did that happen? What are you seeing there?
Actually, that was a very, very small decline. I mean, at the average of about 190,000 jobs per month, we're adding enough jobs to outpace the growth in the labor force, right? So we're adding more jobs than we have to just to keep up with sort of population growth. But we're just not adding very many, and the unemployment rate's not falling very fast. The unemployment rate's fallen about 1 percentage point from over the last 5 months, and that's just not really enough to sort of, improve consumer confidence and cause consumers to be optimistic and go out and spend money.
And certainly something that the Democrats or President Obama can really boast about. Or is this something that they can't?
No, they will boast about it, but they'd be much happier with 2 percentage point drop, obviously.
Right. Dr. Bonham, what's been happening to consumer spending these days then?
Well, with the still relatively weak labor market, improving but weak, there's still over 13 million people unemployed in the United States. And what that means is that consumers are still cautious. Consumption has only gone up at about a 1.5% rate for the last 2 months. It looks like for the first quarter we're going to come in under 2% compared to a 4% growth in the fourth quarter of last year. So that really doesn't bode well for a strong recovery in the U.S. this year.
And is that slowdown because of the rising energy costs? I mean, certainly here in Hawaii, we've seen gas prices rising, so that certainly affects it.
Absolutely. I mean, if you look at how much money consumers are spending on energy, we're back up at about 6% of total consumer expenditures is on energy, which is about where we were when we really began to see consumers cut back in 2008.
Dr. Carl Bonham from UHERO, always good to see you, and thanks for the information.
Thank you.
And if you want to see this interview again, you can always head over to the KITV.com section, this morning section of our website. Coming up next, we'll have more on Kokua for Japan, a preview of that concert. We'll be right back. Time now is 6:41.